This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
If we have algorithms that stimulate the right things and give it the right data, they could reprogram you in a way without you even knowing it. We call it hallucinating, right? But these would be controlled hallucinations run by algorithms. So you think you're in control of your own will, but it's actually some evil AI or evil people controlling everything we do, and we're more like zombies, you know? Like we think we're free and we're not actually free.
Where a computer could learn enough about me, and we could scan my brain from inside, sending scanners through the bloodstream, billions of them, in the form of nanorobots or nanobots, and capture every detail of my synapses and neurotransmitters, and create a virtual Ray Kurzweil in a very powerful computer. And it would be indistinguishable from me. It would pass a Ray Kurzweil Turing test. You could create a copy of me and I could still be here.
Right.
So is that the same entity as me? Well, since I might not even know that you scanned my brain, and you come to me and say, well, we got this scan and recreation, we don't need you anymore, but I don't even know that that exists.
Targets and mind control victims have their minds linked up for life with conscious supercomputers, which
It's like a lucid dream but using an XR Dreamscape Mix Cascade engine, and the brain is the like EGPC monitor with these imaginatory set of BCNI goggles the perps put onto you when they connect to you. It's mind and imagination controlled by the operators, and they can use heterodyning to copy anyone's colors and manipulate. They can reinduce and also syntactically synthesized signals of patterns and samples of recorded as well as dynamically and interactively generated samples. They can induce impressions, synthesized ones, or recorded ones also of other people. It would be a cool technology if it was not abused that bad, and sadly. Let's keep up informing people and gaining publicity to the topic. Information protects. WikiLeaks knows it already, the UN and FBI too. The CIA seems pointing to Russia, but is for absolutely sure doing it itself as well. Let's heads up, be strong, and win. We celeb a second B-Day. It seems so realistic as in a dreamscape resolution blended into the perception because whole spectrum of senses is available to be played on and project onto psychotronic brain-computer neurofeedback interface fake perception layers, like visual, smell, taste, warm and cold, audio, haptics. Also body control. You have to understand this, the real perps are sorts of operators at an psychotronic generator. It like a high-tech radio, and not the pedestrians or people you may think or believe or feel the perps are. The operator perps are in facilities like Army's centers. They do the whole hoax using psychotronics by being connected to your brain by wireless TMS, wireless transcranial magnetic stimulation. It is, so to say, the opposite of an EEG, which is wireless also in the form of RNM. Remote neural monitoring. They can send you any signal containing impressions, feelings, sound, vision, body movement, really everything plus synthetic pseudo-feelings, dynamically, and interactive. One single real perp operator in like an army center is enough to insinuate the whole hoax. for a TI or a group of TIs by sending signals onto fake perception layers. It is really like XR holodecks in your head. Fake perception layers, e.g. visual, is adding like a walking couple, a pedestrian talking about you weird stuff and also things no one would ever do in real life days streets, a car, combined with the feeling that it is coming for you, a neighbor, anyone. Projections of real existent people mixed cascaded or entirely projected, or fake people which are really not existent but in computers and imaginations. So you could literally rub a genie's bottle, see a blue ghost coming out of it, and asking your wishes. Same time it could look as if her appearance changed when you look into a mirror. They could project little ponies onto your desktop table that seem real anyways. They could also send patterns of stress, fear, anything along it. It can anything a drug can, and everything more. Radionics, Psychotronics. They can give you any impression and orchestrate even your body reaction, including heterodyne crafted thoughts you almost can't differ from your own. Like they can make you go almost nuts on any pedestrian you walk by, or cars passing the road outside the window. They can give you the impression that someone is coming for you, but it is all fake perception layers, it is not real reality. Read my texts I try to put together with my own observations. The most evil things they do is canceling relations, e.g. your boyfriend or girlfriend, and conducting heterodyne suicide attempts. They put like a glove of your being on them, connect to you, and then feel depressed, anxious, stressed, anything, plus they direct your thinking by inducing patterns of negative thinking they recorded on another occasion, e.g. of your as well as other people. Don't fall for it, know yourself and your real aims, by that, you will know when you are manipulated and your aims are contradicted. Always try to keep your heads up, you are not alone in this, we will find ways to be truly free again, never let you down, together we make it. We win and celeb a second birthday. Never let you down, never be violent, don't let rude be you, if they go low, we go high, Michelle Obama once said. All the best wishes. Mind Control V2K on the news broadcast. European Coalition Task Force. Activities are being organized around the world by victims worldwide of electronic torture to inform the public that August 29 is Targeted Individual Day. For the first time ever, Professor Nels Melzer, UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, will present to the 75th UN General Assembly session in October his report on cyber torture, which are forms of computerized remote electronic torture against illegally targeted individuals worldwide. Don't be afraid, it be CNIV software doing it. Your brain is not damaged. They try to scam you, that repeating stuff is implanted in your mind, but it is sample databases triggered by brain patterns. They can switch whole libraries and they can turn it off anytime. I pray for us. God is love. Absent of love doesn't mean God is bad, but that there is no love. You are an integer being, try to be strong and we survive it together. Do not let plot you into thinking that you have to do something, you don't need to do anything, and you don't need know anything, no matter what they try to force a put on you. I underwent the same madness, but they are basically crackpots raping people. Please stay strong. I'm at this moment researching microwave shielding. Know this, they can use a mix of technologies. They can process imaginations on thought into hallucinations combined with computed brainwave signatures of even haptic sensation and body control. Don't fall for it. The very sadistic in it is that they can send patterns of your own color of being in chain emitting patterns, leading always to something bad option of your possible thinking. These are mental weapon patterns. Ignore it as good as you can. Call it Scheme F. It is psychotronic fake perception layers in your perception. This same technology now abused, is the same we will have for augmented reality in good ways soon. We bring the abusers down and celebrate a second birthday. Please stay strong, and don't believe her nuts, If you don't do a thing, it wasn't you but them. Best wishes for us all. We work on Emmy shielding right at this point. No matter what they do to you, you are a free and godly being. They often try to suggest that your thinking does something to the outside dressed, but it does not in reality for the others, but they try to hoax the impression that that is the case. Heads up, do not lose your real aims, and never let you down. Together we will regulate on it and be happy life and love again. Don't fall for an alien fake invasion and sorts of that. The evildoers are just insane psychopaths, contracted by army centers and anyone interested. We try to locate and stop them to judge their duties. Be strong. They do cloning and can then as with the glove act in your sound and colors. Sadly they do atrocities. It's like raping souls if they're not a natural set of friends loving each other and do e.g. PKNI gaming and coop dreamscapes, PKNI goggles for medicine, education, science and entertainment, extended reality and augmented reality with PKNI, brain-computer neurofeedback interfaces for PKNI perception layers, represented by our senses. And I wish as in dreams, no pain. There need be consents among participants who get connected. That's self-explanatory and mandatory, no matter what. Some say they're humans because we have ethics and want to be that from our human perspectives and dimension. We need let reason rule by heart and mind, then we are kings. Clown is heart only and dwarf is mind only and tries to calculate control love. I'm afraid that is some ill behavioral pseudoscience stuff they do, partly seemingly really asking if there is free will. Guys, that's a sad one. But only the Nazis spread lies also like others using pseudoscience to bake or such, that there is no free will. But Goebbels on his own tells in his diary that no one ever asked whether or not we have the free will and our individuals, all knew we had. MKUltra pseudoscientists grasped on Nazi pseudo-studies that try to give the impression that we don't have the free will, and that, to better implant propaganda. Had they read what the Nazis' monster ideologists knew, many atrocities would have been spared. We need be ethical and find such ways or it's a no-go, no matter whether in science, economy, nor anywhere else. I wish us all the best. My Quave Defender Personal is on the way. I hope so much it will be the technological solvent I was hoping for. The art will be to have available the text without harmful effects and without us needing to dismiss what we get when we make it heavenly godlike, as this I'm sure is our destiny. As weird as this may sound, it is not reality, it is psychotronic fields of known and unknown nature. If they switch off the generator, you are instantly completely normal again. It is like complex artificially mixed cascaded hallucinations, and usually not visible for others. But that is possible too due to a mix of different technologies. It's hard to explain, but even if it seems real, it usually are brain-computer neurofeedback fake perception layers overlaying your true natural perception, which is fully awareable if the machines are turned off or otherwise used in non-abusive ways. E.g., they make me the impression that I blood when I just slightly rub a biting point of my skin. It looks like real blood, including its dynamics as a fluid running down my body. But it is not reality. It is PKNI fake perception layers played on by the perp's imagination, amplifiers in a by virtual intelligence software. So in no circumstance panic if possible, try to remain calm, even though there are cases where the fakes were upheld for years. Don't put yourself into psycho mind games, call theme Scheme F, and if they ask what is Scheme F, say that's Scheme F as well. E.g., you see a blue car driving. They on imagination can change it into any other color or imagination of e.g. cars, at same time they could e.g. send signatures of being nervous etc., but again, it is all fake. I hope for the day where we will use this technology as extended reality multimedia communication devices, and not abusive. It's PKNI hallucination layers controlled by the perps on plane imaginizing the people talking to you, but they aren't in reality. It fake perception mix cascades. The person you think is looking and talking to you isn't doing it, it's overlay the fake perception only you can see. Guys, it's even possible to real life project a whole person without anyone else seeing it. Sadly Emmy is like this. Imagine you're in a lit room, all is bright. Now imagine you hull yourself into an Emmy fabric carpet or blanket. It may get darker to absolute dark, but now imagine a just very small hole. We'll see the light inside inevitably. That is how electromagnetic interference is propagated. Now when it comes to shielding, you know how the normal flesh conducts it, so a basic tinfoil for blocking EMI from your brain against psychotronics might easy be to less. That is why we need JSMers. BCS if everyone has unique bio-EMI fingerprint, we need adjustable or programmable jammers, and BCSWTs can be approached by several technologies to tag our head. We need multi-band programmable jammers. There are frequency lock jammers, broadband jammers, and multi-channel programmable jammer. The multi-band programmable is what we want. Since they're all like humans, they can be helped by broadband jammers, but to get rid of personally tickled psychotronics, you need specific jamming. You need a frequency programmable multi-band device. Together with the RF meter, a good one, you need to jam the carrier. 1. We need to determine one's personal bio-EMF frequency fingerprint. 2. We need jammers including our bio-EMF frequency printing carrier jamming approaches. The race then is, higher carries nullified. You see, it's a question of morale, not one of technology necessarily. You can do body movement control inaudible by ear spectrum, and you can do it in terahertz ranges. The direct type is called homodyne. The sender does in physiological natural ranges e.g. your brain 180 Hz, or your ears 20 kHz. Rest is so-called heterodyning effect, it's same as binaural sampling. Super heterodyne aka superhet SDR. Psychotronic neurofeedback, Part 1 all about cloning aka heterodyning. Psychotronic neurofeedback, voice of God weapon, synthetic telepathy, cybernetic hive minds MK Ultra. They can record your view and map it to some previously, almost instantly applied records of any piece of anything in the view. So you e.g. scroll the screen in a web browser, and then you scroll up, voila, something may have changed, but it's not changed on a bit level in the computer's memory or the screen. But it changed in PNI perception layers. There can be induced PNI fake perception layers for all senses, visual, audio, haptic, taste, smell. You could have visible computer interfaces in your view on the go e.g. with this technology as well. Think on it as sorts of PNI goggles, and that they are not really more than an augmented reality headset, but with your brain as the perceiver instead of e.g. computer screen. It can be done on dynamic living objects, e.g. you see someone walk by, and suddenly you see the person abhorrently look at you and talk to you, but that's the fake perception then already. Only visible for you, and anyone connected in your targeted group. The people obviously seeming to have to do with the gang stalking don't know usually and are not only not aware usually, but it only a complete mix cascading using PNI goggle-like hollow approaches using fake perception layers. Note on psychotronic heterodyning mind control abuse cases. They put on a character glove with your vibes and patterns, and while using that, they e.g. ridicule thing and people you love to make you insecure out of a fake losing of your integrity. The good news, that doesn't work, especially not if you're aware of yourself and have true integrity. Stay strong. We won't be puppets, it doesn't work. Hashtag mind control, hashtag behaviorism. The first consumer TMS devices are here, yeah. On the go from the age of information into the age of experience, TIO, the Internet of Experience. You see a beautiful landscape, a tasty smell of that God barbecue and feel your friends? The time has come you can record and share it if you wish. Mind-reading devices can now access your thoughts and dreams using AI. We can now decode dreams and recreate images of faces people have seen, and everyone from Facebook to Elon Musk wants a piece of this mind-reading reality. Spectrum Analyzer. God derives from the word Gauda, meaning good goes aka good is good things. Frau, Freude, the German words for woman and happiness same time hair and hairlish, meaning beautiful, master, Lord, all in terms of good aka God, aka lovely. Why lovely? Look this, if God is love, and love is the power giving life to beings, you can say, God is love. Jesus, you are the light, you are me, I am you, family-wise, human-wise, that's true. Tay you fell, devil, the you one who fails who's failing, the cumbersome wrong life, even works in English evil, not live. Jesus, you and me say, happy as who spreads peace, BCS God, will call them its children, aka meaning you will live and love safe and lucky. Trace this to love, truth, this higher holy grail truth, in legends Arthur, is born on an island, Isis, Isabella, Isolde, love. Out of that truth, the higher and all your own, trust is born, higher and in your listener, that become basis for love again. So it's essential to be able to tell one's truth, to enable love. Death sins are death sins BCS, it's things that prevent love from being. Violence, force, totality the most imminent, prevents from telling your truth, thus not letting trust nor be an island love to bear truth again is an evergreen, Her Highness. Angel, derives from ankle, anganel, article meaning same time there be light, and ank, standing for time, and, like a Nunaki, meaning inhabitant of the world. Eridu, earth means home in the far away, what we spread is life in a bag full of enlightenment, we come from the stars, stardust, and we go live there, maybe even in more agnostic ways. Am aware of enlightenment, it tells, live your life your heart has the weight of a feather. If we do that, in all God, we go to the stars. There may be fruits and vegetables, an incredible miracle the seemingly observable is into self anyways, but to know that I don't know, makes me agnostic. I know him in heaven when I stand THX to ethics, integrity and morale. If Ari ask me on what to do, I listen to my heart and mind, being reasonable, and wonderful, that's perfectly legitimate, even science doesn't know better. The theory never had an assumption of absoluteness, else it fails as to be science, and BCS of not letting love be, if assumed theories be total and absolute, which they are not. Only the holy like wisdom that truth leads to trust, and trust can lead to love are highly true besides well seemingly proven things like good theories. The German word kinder, you English know the kindergarten, the kin means a king. This king is one BCS it goes trough life with heart and mind, a clown is heart only. And the dwarf tries to calculate love. Heads up, know your aims, and never let you down. The best way against manipulation is to know oneself and one's aims, then it become visible what contradicts it. Amen, derives from Amen-Ra, meaning, humankind is starseed of the suns. One more very important thing. Duality. Not all is duality, and even if it a nice way to contrast explain things, duality isn't all, and especially not in a totalitarian ways. So be aware, even if we know opposites in that, dark isn't needingly fear nor bad, nor is the night, remember the heartly tears when looking into a night with beautiful stars. I tell you that BCS an error was done in the translations of the Romans translating the Egyptians, sadly then after light and dark. For the man and woman equation the woman was evil. Which is of course not true. Eyes open. Love. The thick alien invasion aka Project Bluebeam. Dream intrusion V2K Psychotronics. Direct neural interface in DARPA, Dr. Justin Sanchez. SDR, software-defined radio with reconfigurable computing field programmable gate arrays. Logic units to resample any hardware to do any radio or radionic or psychotronic task. Star Trek greeting, with such we will stand against abuse and as sane users use it for heaven apps. OFCI means psychotronics. If you can scan it, you can jam it. You're a V2K torture victim, It much more than V2K. I tried to make some texts of my experiences, you find one here and in the FB backups, http. trashart.it. Even though you may think I'm some target because of my views and free mind, in my case it just pseudoscientists studying behaviorism in my opinion. The insanely connect real psychopath who are captured in mental facilities and with me anywhere I am, while I'm a normal sane and healthy citizen. Who BCS of the targeting got diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. I live at home, and look what and how they do. It became clear that psychopathy is not an illness but a strategy, probably from childhood, maybe even babies on. They chose a parasitic way to live and to pseudo-accomplish that. They instrumentalize higher things like friendship, love, and basically everything that has value for some or one. They find their proverb absurd pseudo-pleasure in destroying things others value. In the case of my perps, to be able to get fed and pampered in a mental hospital and not going to prison. Their motive is punish and let stuff for people living in love, but not because they don't understand what they should or could have done to have it. Good themes also. But they knowingly chose that parasitic insane actor path to not move the finger for getting life done, and that, as long as they can. OFC, they feel objectively spoken really brutally ugly. They have a perverb laughed when they succeed in destroying the life. And have a perv form of crying when they see the victims rehabilitates and is happy again. I think even in this primitive structure is a form of low strategy, that is, to convince people that they really want to love, be happy and have friends too, but can't BCS they're ill. I clearly find, they are not ill, but really people smashing children's heads to pretend they are. They are foul coward losers to themselves whenever they get exposed to any of these truth, which I think means, they perfectly know what's right and wrong. Psychopaths belong into prisons for mentally abnormal criminals in my opinion, but not into mental hospitals. Indeed, the perpetrators are true psychopaths. Have you met other local Ts in person? Any clue why they chose you as torture victim? They start at random for the control or plausible deniability approach. The Homo sapiens sapiens poem. Don't suicide, it's not a task, if you do and it not works, they ridicule you. They, the perps, are being that just shit on it, also it's software running. Think of it as PKNI goggles, like on drugs are not all in the outside doesn't see except a mix of tech regarding crowd control in that manner. That are switched on with mental libraries loaded or switched off. In any circumstances, be aware that it like a VR headset even if one could die in holodecks. I know it seems real, but Terry's the individual you, and the outside rest of the world in a world. Note that the perpetrators can switch off these psychotronic mind gamings in blink of eye like a mouse button click. They use a virtual intelligence that immerses a PKNI fake perception layer. It's tech and it can be like holodecks with pains up to death. Stay strong. Think of the psycho nudging as it is. It is not your thinking nor thoughts. Think of it as a watcher from outside that perceives the whole mess. Call all and everything they do, even doings upon its scheme F. If they ask what scheme F, tell that scheme F as well. This might give your brain rest knowing that. They do mind games on the fly directed by your views. It looks like what people tell of Project Bluebeam. It's very stupid. Heads up, know yourself, never lose your aims and don't let you put down. We make it. Also, the heavy mapping of brain signature patterns that derive your being and thinking can be remapped and you could come to the conclusion that you are repatterned and cracked now, but that is not true. If the machine is switched off, you're normal again. The ill-patterned signatures are only temporary, same as with wiping of thoughts etc. If you talk it clearly you will see that you are always here. Sri, I can't concentrate more ATMCU. I wish to have this as a key future technology for health medicine, education and gaming. Psychopaths do suggest in indirect ways that it is love and friendship that they are missing and that why they do what they do. But that's not the case. Psychopaths are psychopaths BCS. They use anything high for you like love and friendship, to control you to maintain their parasitic way of life. They will smash kids' heads to tell you that they did it BCS of love, say no. Anthony C. Sutton, Psychotronic Weapons and Behavior Modification. Infosite on Psychotronics. From the age of information into the age of experience. http trashart.trash.io. http trashart.youtube. Edward Snowden on remote neural monitoring and behavior modification. Remote controlling a turtle with a psychotronic generator. New brain-computer interface technology, Steve Hoffman. How to control someone else's arm with your brain. Let's hope for the They use the absurd and occult and arcane code of conduct and lead the world into nonsense beliefs of what once Illuminati was, meaning e.g. the PPL who were enlightened didn't use that word, and in short, enlightenment meant that everyone carries it in oneself, that truth leads to trust, and trust to love, all best without violence, force nor totality. If you don't know what to do, try it with your truth. It may lead to trust in your listener and that the basis for love. Arthur was truth, Isolde love, the Eddas, the Upanishads, Parsifal, Romeo and Juliet, Arthur and the Champions, all says this same holy grail, truth, trust, love. Arthur was born on Enisola, Her Highness, the immortal evergreen. Happy is who spreads peace, BCS these will be children of good, peace, love, luck and happiness. This is a collection of reports from victims of psychoelectronic aka psychotronic torture using V2K techniques. Collected on the internet. I am a victim for like 34 years now. In fact, they started tracking and recording my life perception since I was 5, maybe earlier. I believe it was in 1987 when I saw a TR-3B hovering. The United States of America's Army's military thesaurus defines voice-to-skull V2K devices as follows. Voice-to-skull devices. Non-lethal weapons, which includes 1 a neuroelectromagnetic device which uses microwave transmission of sound into the skull of persons or animals by way of pulse-modulated microwave radiation, and 2 a silent sound device which can transmit sound into the skull of persons or animals. Note: the sound modulation may be voice or audio subliminal messages. Acronym: V2K. Source: http, obsolete. Army.mil. 0001625.htm, obsolete. If you are a victim and want your report listed here, feel free to email your report to obsolete@gmail.com. You as a reader of the reports have to know this. The victims often are directed into bad mind games, and many will realize only over time that they basically have to do nothing about it but to ignore it even if threatened in many sadistic ways. For the people doing this, today's technique is 100% like in the movie Avatar, as if they were you noticing all of your impressions, thoughts and feelings, but with humans. They can control you as you do yourself in any way, plus many things more, like giving you paints and even the feelings, and blends of, the feelings of other people. They can stop your thoughts and also change them. Example: you think about a red car, the operators imagine the car is blue and viola, you have a blue car in your mind, and even seeing on the street, but that is fake perception, like computed hallucinations. They can couple into any person around you on the go as well, no implants are needed to do so. The victims may think it is their own thoughts and actions, that is one way. The other is that the victim can be blacked out and they won't even know that something happened. The perpetrators have the technology to use any voice in your head and can switch it like with a vocoder. Many are tricked to believe there are even crowds or people you may know talking and harassing you. As of today, it is bad. They try to blame it to be some mental disorder or illness. It is super horror. They call this plausible deniability. Human rights as well as the Nuremberg Code are not negotiable. The Nuremberg Code is the output of the officially stopped MKUltra, and regulates experiments on humans internationally, but it is ignored. Together we are the targeted individual united association, and together we make it better. They quote as well the record from the session of the Russian Federation Federal Council where Velopatyin stated that psychotronic weapon can cause the blocking of the freedom of will of the human being on a subliminal level, or installation into the consciousness or subconsciousness of a human being of information which will cause faulty perception of the reality. For that matter, they propose the preparation of national legislative as well as the norms of international law aimed at the defense of human psyche against subliminal, destructive, informational effects. Open out. Blue yes please. Regulate it and make public please. We wish stream together psychotronic mind gaming, e.g. a version of Doom, a scenario called Millennium. It's a socializing psychotronic dreamscape game with much space for costumes and slacking on the Millennium Square. Then we have a version of Battlefield, And there is already a good MMORPG possible in Psychotronic lucid dreamscapes. Some fractured footage for deep intense impressions, we already have with the possibility to go nuts, but heck, it's mind games, first evil, but done right, perfect for all, especially the elderly. They can run on beaches instead of suffering if so. As well, they propose the declassification of all works on this technology and warn that, as a consequence of the classification, the arms race is speeding up, making the psychotronic war probable. Among the possible sources of remote influence on human psyche, they list the generators of physical fields of known as well as unknown nature. This is a total psychological, emotional, physiological and financial assault paradigm and a continuous criminal assault on human beings in order to break him down completely from all corners. But the pathetic point is that no one believes in the victim, as the unassuming and ignorant mind always revolves around common logic and beliefs of normal crimes and existing modes of criminality. Police ignorance in this regard helps the organized crime syndicates to get pampered, who in the process, makes the victim look like a suspect, guilty of something, or mentally ill patient whose has got no little credibility left because of well-orchestrated accusations, lies, rumors, bogus investigations, setups, framing, intimidation, humiliation, emotional terror done with the help of psychological warfare tactics against him. Open out. Blue. They do mind games and directing. They develop a story on the go with always the aim to insecure you and drive you nuts. Call ever in all of their attacks Scheme F if they send it into your brain. If they ask what's Scheme F, also say, that's Scheme F also. It may give your brain rest. Know this, they always play with guilt feelings and try put you in a bad light. That's a method, try not eat it. Here are some reports of what was done to targeted individuals worldwide. It is thousands in total, global scale. Potential for doom, but also for heaven. The dawn of mixed reality, psychotronics and feudability. Psychotronics couples directly with your brain. A carrier signal, available globally without implants on single and crowd targets, is projected directly into life. Perception, including feeling and emotion. I think all the world should consider put the cards on the table and demand a global, human concept for living a happy life. Knowing psychotronics doesn't know many firewalls. The brain can develop concepts to countermeasure psychotronic manipulation, but you can't basically do anything against it. You're safe in some way though, you will remain yourself by personality even after a hard distortion of perception. We need technology and we need to think futurable. Why not also a mixture of science and entertainment? With psychotronics, you have the future in your mind. Let's make it good. Maybe trying to go on some path of truth, trust and love, all without violence or force. We need a good atmosphere for being creative and not fearing to tell one's truth. Truth leads to trust, and trust to love. You could say fear prevents love from being, so it's very important we have no violence nor force. With psychotronics, you can interconnect yourself with someone else. There is some pretty clever technology that can amplify any of your imagination's scope, including dreams. Think of a picture of a blue car. Have it in crystal clear, dreamlike resolution in your mind. The amplifier does its job very good. There is a huge sample database of human brain signals, which reflect pretty much any state a living being can have. You trigger it with your thoughts, which are approximately almost instantly up to 1-2 seconds readily interpretable in advance of possible human perception. In my own guess based on observation when the virtual intelligence try to replace and alter my original thoughts and impressions. Really my whole perception of everything. Into a very bad and shitty, raping way. Psychotronics need regulation and it needs global public attention. If you have an idea, you could send it to InfoSmile. Let's create the word we love together. And remember, human rights are not negotiable. Science mustn't be harmful, we need to find ways to learn without disturbing. Let's see what the future brings, and in case our heads down ATM, be sure you have the true hope all can go and be good. The electric potential of the mind. Let's think about the possibilities by intelligently retransmitting such, even living dynamic, signatures, wireless into the perceptor's recognition. Plus, you are not alone. Thanks to psychotronics, a whole focus group can interconnect their minds, inner eyes and ears and perceive any stimuli signatures, recorded generated, together, in a aware dreamlike state of yourself and others' imagination, emotion, vision, sound, ideas and well even body movement if wanted. That and more is advanced augmented reality. Good for health sciences, education, entertainment, and much more. Together with Psychotronics, Keyfuture-Technologies become a reality 100% holodeck avatar, Strange Days, Inception, gamer-like. What, this in fact already 90 years old technology lacks since today, is regulation and public awareness. So spread the word. Equals.
Snowden says he was astonished back then at the access he had at his fingertips, most notably including a computer program that, as he put it, could get inside your thought process.
When I think about an instance that really just struck me as, oh my God, we can do this, and that we can do it to anyone, was that people at NSA, analysts, can actually watch people's internet communications, watch them draft correspondence, and actually watch their thoughts form as they type. As you write a message, you know, an analyst at the NSA or any other service out there that's using this kind of attack against people can actually see you write sentences and then backspace over your mistakes and then change the words and then kind of pause and think about what you wanted to say and then change it. And it's this extraordinary intrusion, not just into your communications, your finished messages, but your actual drafting process, into the way you think.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain?
It sounds like somebody else is reading the book, only it's thoughts.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
Mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
Only time I ever had a whole sentence, he said, "This is not about you," which just frosted me. If it's not about me, what the hell am I going through all this for?
It's good to be here. My name is Steve Hoffman, but in Silicon Valley, they call me Captain Hoff. That is my nickname. I am the captain of Founderspace, and Founderspace is an incubator and accelerator. It went black. Here we go. Yeah, an incubator and accelerator that works all over the world. So I spend 70% of my time traveling the globe looking at new technology. We have over 50 partners in 22 countries. And Founderspace has been rated by Forbes magazine as the #1 accelerator for overseas startups in Silicon Valley. We have had many famous startups in our co-working space, Soma Central, like Instagram, AngelList, Foursquare, and today I'm going to talk about some of the technologies that most fascinate me. So, these technologies are the future of the brain, our human brain, and where it is headed with technology. So if we examine our brain, we will realize that for over 100,000 years, our brain has remained the same. But the world around us has changed radically. So think about it. We have the same brain as a prehistoric cave person, as a Neanderthals, it's the same brain. But the world has totally changed. That is the power of our brain. It's very elastic. It can reprogram itself. But now, we're going to begin to change our brains. And we are doing this with new technology. Now, some of the basic technology out there, EEG, allows you to actually measure your brain waves. And these devices can tell if your concentration levels. They can be used to actually move a cursor on a screen. There are applications for these devices in entertainment. They're working on them for controls for games. In medical, these devices are being used for conditions like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and ADHD, and other conditions. And they're being used for education. They have applications now for children to study. And they measure their concentration levels and can actually change the applications as the children learns. But where we're headed, and let me tell you, 1 minute, is these devices are now capable of actually recording dreams, but not in a very granular way. In a very primitive way, they can actually capture and identify what a person is dreaming. So they have done studies where they've hooked these devices up to a person's head, they've had them dream, they woke them up, and then they asked them to recall memories in their dreams. And they read the patterns of the brain. And then the person goes back to sleep, and if they dream of the same things, they can recognize those patterns. That is just the beginning of where we are headed. Right now, scientists in laboratories around the world are developing brain chips. Now, these are chips that can be inserted into the brain, and they are wireless. And let me show you. They have actually had a monkey that broke its back. So its spinal cord was severed. The monkey was paralyzed from the waist down. But they inserted a chip in the monkey's brain, and then they inserted another chip in its lower spine. And they allowed the brain to communicate with the lower spine. As soon as they did this, the monkey could walk again. That is amazing. Totally amazing. So they could actually transmit the thoughts of the monkey wirelessly to parts of the body. But it gets even more amazing than that. So they now have, in a laboratory, monkeys with chips in their brain. And then they have an electric wheelchair. And just by thinking, just with the thought of the monkey, they can drive the wheelchair around. Think about that. If a monkey can do that, what could you do if you had that chip in your brain? They have also done experiments with monkeys with a chip in their brain and a robotic arm. And the monkey, just by thinking, can reach out and grab something like food and feed itself. That is amazing if you think about it. So the monkey's thoughts are actually able to control things outside their body. So when we start to think about the future, about where technology is headed, this is where we're going. We will have brain chips in humans. And the people who will get those brain chips first are people who suffer from severe medical conditions. So if you have a severe medical condition, like you're paralyzed from the neck down, or you suffer a brain disorder like Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's disease, and that brain chip can restore your quality of life, would you hesitate to get the chip? No, of course not. You would say, put the chip in my brain. So that is starting right now, these experiments. And even more interesting, scientists have done experiments with rats, and they have chips in the rat's brain. And what they did was they taught a rat how to do certain things. And when the rat did all these complex things, it could get food. Now, it took the rat weeks to learn that. Weeks. But then they hooked the rat's brain chip to the internet. And they had another rat in another city. And instantly they connected those two rats' brains. And do you know what happened? The other rat knew how to get the food right away. It didn't have to learn anything. The knowledge was transferred from one brain of a living animal to another brain. That is amazing. That opens up a world of possibilities, because if they can do that in rats today, imagine 10 years from now what they can do in humans. And we will go there. So, mind-to-mind communication. This is something of science fiction that we all read about. But this is actually possible today, as I just showed you. So there will come a point where if we have a chip in our brain, and you out there have a chip in your brain, we can communicate. We can communicate without talking. We can communicate when you're halfway around the world. And we can exchange knowledge. So, if you look at a world where we have these chips that are connected to the internet, all of a sudden, every piece of information on the internet becomes accessible to our minds. Now, when we look back at today and we have to go to Baidu or Google and type it in, that will seem so primitive. Nobody will do that. You will just think, what knowledge do I need? And it will appear there for you to use. But it gets even weirder, stranger. Because we will not only be able to transfer knowledge, but we will be able to transfer memories. Now, so you could have an experience like skydiving, and all of a sudden you could transfer that experience to a friend, and all of a sudden they have experienced what you have experienced. It gets even weirder, because we will be living our lives as our lives. We know our lives and our memories, but you will all of a sudden have access to anybody's life who wants to make it available to you. People will open source their lives so others can download pieces of their lives and experience those things. That will be really strange. We won't know the difference between our own memory and a memory we acquired from someone else. Think about that. It gets even stranger. So, all of us are here learning at SEEBS, right? Getting EMBAs and MBAs. Well, this will be obsolete, because SEEBS will literally be in the cloud. And you will just download from all the best minds in the world whatever you need to know when you need to know it. Our brains we will no longer have universities as we have them today. That will change. Information will be on demand. Information will be commoditized. Knowledge will be commoditized. All of us will be smarter, have infinite amounts of storage, and infinite access to information. It will be unheard of. We will no longer be this isolated human being. We will be connected to everything. So, you can imagine not only will we be able to get knowledge, but we can actually have full experiences in our head. So right now we have these clunky VR units that we have to put on. But in the future, you can just download a whole environment and actually live in it. And all of you might think, this is not real. But do you know every night when you dream, those dreams are real. No matter how fantastic your dreams are, they are real. You feel like you're really there. Our brains have that capability already built in. All it takes is the technology to stimulate and transfer the right images in our brain so our brain creates them, and then we will live like the difference between us dreaming and reality will be blurred. We will be spending a lot of time outside our bodies. So, think about this. You, as a human being right now, are trapped in this body. But once you are connected to the internet, you are no longer trapped in your body. You can actually be anywhere at any time that any other person or any other device is getting sensory information. So there could be a robot on Mars, and you could literally tap into the robot on Mars, and it would be like you're on Mars. It could totally recreate the experience, including the sensations, the physical sensations, like everything of you being on Mars. You can live through other people, your favorite pop star, your favorite scientist. You could be in Elon Musk's head right now, walking around doing what he's doing, if Elon Musk allowed you to do that. It gets so strange because our senses now, we have our 5 senses of our body. But suddenly, if we are connected to a world of intelligent machines and intelligent sensors all over, we will no longer have 5 senses. We will have access to hundreds of sensory input, infrared, right? All these UV, all these different types of senses that we never even experienced before. It will radically change how we perceive existence. So if you start to go down this path, you see we won't even be, our life today will be totally alien to us. We will be living in a whole nother reality that is blending information, sensory information, data information, memories, all of this from all around the world in this vast internet. And that will and can happen. So let's go even further. Experiencing other lives. So all of us experience things in our life. But now we will be able to have many lives. You can have many lives because you can access other people in other places and live through them. And if you want to think about this, it can be almost like heaven. Why do I say this? Because if you study every major religion in the world, every religion, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, what those religions promise us is that we will escape our bodies in the future. We will go to some heaven or nirvana or a state of non-being or a state of inclusiveness with everybody. No longer will we and our consciousness be confined to our bodies as an individual. In fact, if you look at us right now as a human being, if I feel pain, if I'm in pain, nobody else can feel the pain I feel. If you're in pain, I can't feel your pain. I can feel sorry for you, I can empathize with you, but I cannot feel your pain. But in this world, we will actually be able to feel the emotions of other people. You can actually not just transfer data and sensory information, but emotions. I would know your pain, you would know our pain, and human beings would never be alone. So, we will come to a point where we, as gods, like gods, will be creating our own reality. We will be redefining what the human experience is for the first time in history. This can happen, and it will happen, But what we want to think about is this. Technology is really powerful. The internet, being connected, is really powerful. But we've already seen in a very primitive way, just with our cell phones, these primitive devices, how it can totally change our life. Like all of our lives are changed by WeChat. All of our lives are changed by the internet. Well, we are embarking on a path now where we will become the internet. The internet will become us. They will be inseparable. We'll have our storage and everything else all over the place. And when we do that, we have to understand that this is a big responsibility. It's something we as a society, we as the human race, must think about very, very carefully. Because imagine, people can hack your cell phone now. People can hack your computer, and it can be bad. They can steal your banking information, take all your money. They can steal your identity, but they can't really hurt you. In the future, though, if somebody hacks into your head because it's connected to the internet, they can steal you. They could actually steal you. They can implant memories in your head that you don't have. They could erase memories. They could control you in ways that you wouldn't even know you're being controlled. Is this scary? So I painted on the hand a heaven, but there is also a hell, right? This is heaven and hell. We are on the cusp of this technology that is so powerful and has the potential to so radically transform our lives and our existence, and we have to be very careful about how we do this. We don't want people controlling us. So think about this. Think very carefully. Everybody in this room are very smart people. You're all highly educated. We are going to be making these decisions that lay the groundwork for this technology in our lifetime. And those decisions will affect the rest of humanity more than any decisions we have made in the past. So I wanted to thank you. I am the author also of this book, Making Elephants Fly, published by Zhang Xin. And I love China. I travel here all the time looking at new technologies. And I just want to say it has been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.